Hello and welcome to O2 Inside Line Live. We're here at Twickenham after the final game of the Autumn Nation Series where England have gone down to the world champion South Africa by 27 points to 13. I'm Topsy Ojo, my co-host Rocky Clark here. We're going to have a quick chat with some of the players. First up, Freddie Stewart. Freddie, a tough way to end the Autumn Nation Series campaign. How are you feeling at the minute?
Frustrated, disappointed. A lot of words. It was a performance where we didn't quite get into gear. I don't think we started well enough. We lost a lot of the contest areas in the game, and against the world champions, if you make mistakes, you get punished. So disappointing. Yeah,
I mean, you're fresh out the changing room, all the boys having a chat. Was that some of the key words that came out? That frustration that you couldn't quite get going?
Yeah, I think so. That was the key message. We were frustrated with how the game went, and the message then was, let's try and not get just disjointed. Take the positive from what has been a brilliant 5 weeks we've had behind the closed doors, and we've trained really well. There's some positives to take. So I suppose that was what was said.
And for you personally, what are your positives that you're taking from this?
It's that test match rugby when the pressure is on, you've got to be able to deliver. And for me personally today, I was frustrated with how that went. So some lessons learnt there. But overall as a team, we'll get back to the drawing board and work out what we didn't do so well and fix that for the Six Nations.
What are your personal highlights from the 5 weeks?
I think the personal highlight would have been that New Zealand comeback. I think that was a pretty special atmosphere. Twickenham was rocking. I've never played the All Blacks before, so to do that and come back against them was pretty special.
Cool. And Freddie, from here, attention will turn after domestic and European stuff to the Six Nations. So can you put your finger on maybe a couple of key areas that you might look to build on between now and those fixtures come the springtime?
Yeah, I think we're going to work hard as we go back to the drawing board. I think our attack, we're going to put some hard work into that, defence particularly too, and then keep cracking at that set piece.
Cool. Freddie, thank you very much for chatting with us. We're going to sub you out for our next special guest.
Cheers. Hey fella, how are you doing?
It's Ben Youngs.
Are you okay?
Hey, Ben.
Give me one of them, yeah. How are you, right?
Yeah, great.
Ben, thanks very much for joining us.
No
just had a quick chat with Freddie there. Obviously, you came on in the second half. What was the feeling when you got out there? Did you think you were able to maybe try and turn the tide, or was that South African vice grip just a bit too tight?
They get you in that grind. It's hard to break it. But we just felt like the game needed a bit of speeding up. Set piece wise, you see, it takes 3-4 minutes every set piece, and it's hard to get any continuity. So then they kick it up in the air. They want, if you drop it, happy days. They get to go scrum. It takes 2 minutes to set up. But look, it is what it is. That's kind of. You get drawn into that grind, and I felt like you could get out there and try and move the ball a little bit, which we did, but a little bit too late.
Yeah, if tempo was the name of the game, can you maybe put your finger on, especially first half, why you couldn't quite get things going?
Yeah, I think we moved the ball to the edge once first half. We got done for 4 passes, didn't we? And then it's kind of like, I don't know whether it spooked us going there again. I'm not sure. We spoke about it again at half time, but look, I'm like, well, you watching it, until you're out there, you don't really know. So, but I just think South Africa are very, very clever in terms of they get you into that grind, they get you in that vice, they put the pressure on you, and it's hard to break through. And then when you give them a lead like that, a buffer, it's almost like they almost invite you to play because they'll get a turnover, they'll get a jackal, and it becomes harder. So I think the biggest disappointment was probably with the manner in which we came out the traps, because we didn't come out the traps.
So going forward, what learnings can we take going into the Six Nations?
Well, you can't give teams as many leg ups as that, especially against the quality teams. At home, you want to impose yourself, absolutely get the crowd behind you and impose yourself, and we didn't do that. So really, it's error count. It's making sure that we get our set piece right, because we want set piece dominance, or at least be even. And we want to be a bit more bolder in how we play. We want to take the game to teams, and I felt like we did that once. We didn't quite work, and then we probably got spooked again. So that's the thing. Be a bit more on the front foot.
Okay, and so how would you take the shackles off then to be brave and go for that? What would be your 100+ caps experience to say that?
It's different for everyone, isn't it? Because there is a lot of young guys out there, and that's some of them are learning their trade. So that's, you just got to have belief in terms of what you do during the week. Your training, your prep is everything. You take the field because you prep, you have clarity, you go out there, and then you got to go and back yourself to deliver it. And the boys train unbelievably hard. They really do, which you all know. So I just think we've got to learn the lessons and make sure that when we do take the field, we impose ourselves and be aggressive with our calling, with our plays, with our set piece, and be a bit more at teams.
Ben, positive words, and we're hoping to see a lot more of that come the Six Nations.
Let's
Thank you very
so.
much for joining
Cheers,
us.
thank you.
Nice
Nice
to
to
see you.
time.
We're going to get our last guest in.
Hey,
Mako Vunapola. Hey brother, not too bad. Sum up how you're feeling right now. It's a pretty disappointing end to the autumn series.
Yeah, a little bit deflated, obviously. Result, losing that game, but I think as well the way we played. That's credit to South Africa. They beat us in that grind today, and as a forward pack, we've got to look at ourselves there and learn our lessons from that.
Yeah, game plan wise, going into it, what were some of the key areas that you really wanted to attack South Africa?
We talked about how obviously they're a structured team. They want to play from their kicking box kicks after Clerk and that, and we talked about how we have to be on the ball there to try and help the boys at the back by going back with the ball, making sure we give them enough cover, and we didn't do that enough for today. And then off the back of that, we wanted to make sure that we still fall back into shape. So it wasn't just one-out rugby, and we did do that enough today. Give our backs the options that they needed, and even when we did that in the second half, we looked good. So there are lessons there for us, and we've got to learn them quick.
So how do we regroup and turn all of this into positives going forward, taking it into the Six Nations?
As I said, we've got to look back and figure out what's going on. Not just in this game, but the whole autumn. Game by game, we felt like we improved. Today was probably, we didn't give our best today, and credit to them, they came here and rose to the occasion. We didn't. In terms of improving for Six Nations, what we can't do now is come back and start from point zero again. We have to look at what we did today and learn from that, and make sure that come whatever the first game is, Six Nations, that we're better again from here.
Well, Mako, thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you boys again in the Six Nations and taking all those learnings going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Cheers.
Good. Well, Rocky, a tough afternoon, evening at Twickenham. You could sense, obviously, the disappointment in the players' faces. The one highlight, I guess, would have been the Henry Slade try. So we're going to have a quick look at that now and probably talk through the England that we want to see rather than the England that we get to see too often.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick tack there from Ben Youngs. You've got Farrell off his shoulder, quick play out, and then Slade steps off his right foot and goes over. That's what we want to see. That tempo, that boldness, that braveness. But it took us until 70 minutes to see it again. Yeah,
I mean, you had obviously the high view. You were up in commentary. Talk us through what you were seeing at the time. I mean, did it look like there was a clear pattern of play, or was it just that South Africa was so good at frustrating England that they couldn't get going?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. England would just look a little clunky. It didn't quite flow, and they'd get some momentum, and then it'd slow right down. So it's really important that they harness that momentum, get that front foot, and when it's on, they play with those shackles off that we spoke about already.
Yeah, I mean, they approached this autumn as the mini World Cup, so it's 2 losses, a win and a draw. So how would you sum up England's autumns, and where might you see the key improvements they need to make between now and Six Nations time?
Well, if it is a mini World Cup, we wouldn't be going very far, would we, with those kind of results? So we have to take the learnings from this, don't we? We have to. We've really found out a lot about us, where we need to improve, and we've seen glimpses where we've been able to work on it and implement it for the next game, from Argentina into Japan and that last 10 minutes against New Zealand. But we just have to be under the cosh to really express ourselves, and I want to see us coming out and just throwing everything at it. First 10 minutes, this is what we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, fingers crossed we see a lot more of that come Six Nations time. Rocky, that's us done. You had a good time?
I've had a fabulous time,
yeah,
especially with you.
Thank you very much. Too kind. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on OSU Inside Line Live. We will be on your YouTube and your Facebook. Keep your eye out on all the England Rugby social channels. Thank you so much for joining us. The final thing I need to leave you on is, of course, news sadly broke during the game that Doddy Weir passed away. And here, all at England Rugby, we just want to send our condolences to Doddy's family, friends, and everybody connected at Scottish Rugby. Take care and have a good evening.